let's go through the review of this Peugeot 4-way GT. As you can see, looks like the Peugeot has moved out from the sedans and standard hatchbacks into some sort of SUV and crossover type of cars and sort of fastback. So this is the fastback. I will leave you the visuals to you, because for everyone it will look differently. I will more focus on things I do like and I don't like about this vehicle. Visually, when you come from the standard smaller SUV, right, to this, suddenly you view it, it looks kind of weird. It's sort of, the ground clearance are higher up. It's not really an SUV. It's not really a sort of crossover, sort of fastback with a higher ground clearance, right? Like it sits on 19-inch wheels. The tires are not very wide, you know, but obviously it's got some interesting design elements, you know, so cloth type LED lights, laser front lights, headlights at the front, and the 3D lights at the back when every claw comes on when you unlock the car. So this one sits at £38,000, which for that sort of money, this is hybrid 1.2 litre petrol. It's a bit of sort of mild hybrid, but better than a mild hybrid because there's an electric motor inside the gearbox. So it's slightly more complicated system than just an ordinary mild hybrid with the alternator starter motor system assisting that way only. So coming back to the price, I think there's so much of choice. Whether I would be buying this, definitely not for that price, you know. The plug-in hybrid version, it is, I think it's 42 or 44. Again, for that sort of budget, you have not thousands of cars to choose from, but it's a good new car budget, right, to select it for. So as this is the highest spec of the Peugeot 408, it's got smart tailgate, so that's quite handy. It operates quite fast. It is quite spacious. So the boot lid, I mean the boot space is quite good. So you can, those flaps, you can drop the seat. So it is quite handy, and it's got these little rubbers and some compartments on the side, which is quite handy actually for when I do inspections. And Kia Sportage I have doesn't have those little, they're really silly elements, but they do help. So regards to interior, as I said, it's quite spacious, you know, so it's good clearance when you're sitting in. The trim level is, you got fake sort of leather, this mix of some sort of suede elements in it and some stitching. The people who had French cars, they know everything's a bit plasticky, you know, but it is sensible. Coming into front, it's got some sport seats inside, and smart, as you probably know, Citroen Peugeot have fit in smaller sport steering wheels. You know, when we do start the car up, they have this eye toggles, they call it, new cockpit, blah blah blah. Visually, like on any new car, everything looks nice and new, but the system I don't like. It's super slow. Navigation is super slow. As you see, Dutch changing over, it's slow, it's not practical. Touchscreen is a bit delayed compared to Kia cars with new infotainment systems, or BMWs. So the keyboard is small. I will not focus on these little details. Only good thing is I like CarPlay, which connects quick to share the screen on it, which connects with the Wi-Fi, which is basically, it's good and it's bad, because when you're connecting something else for the Wi-Fi, it interferes with that, and when you want to use the Google Maps, then you have to switch it off. And again, some people will like it, some people would not like it. Coming to compartments, this is exposed, there's no cover. That's a bit weird. Would be nice if it would have some sort of, for security reasons, it is nice to put a phone down. Only for the privacy you have a compartment for the coffee. The only thing I do like for this headrest, it's got light in it, so when you open it you can see what's actually in there. Sensible size. Steering wheel, as I said, the seating position, the way I see it, it's actually on my way. I can't see the dials. Regards to rear view camera, it has rear view camera. The gear selection is the little knob. It also basically let's say 3D prints the area when you drive around and recognizes what your surrounds are. You know, it flicks in between. There is some annoying stuff, but I mean, Peugeot infotainment systems, they've never been perfect on all the French cars. The dashboard, as you can see, it has a nice shape, I would say, right? And then that's about infotainment system. It's got obviously the boot lid opening, which most cars will have. Regards to infotainment system and climate, I think I mentioned everything. Got additional buttons to get to the menus quicker, you know, to select lane keeps and any other options if you want to get to the menu quicker. It has these audible warnings, are very annoying. It has walk close and walk away. It's locking and unlocking car. I like that option. So as you know, these audible warnings, parking brake not applied. Let's just go for the road test. As it is 1.2 turbo mild hybrid, I will still say. However, it does operate like a parallel hybrid a bit, you know, but it's not that great. Engine is underpowered, especially from the mid-range revs. Once you get over the fast idle, you can feel that 3-cylinder 1.2 engine, you know, so the struggles, and then the turbo kicks in, and then the electric motor assist, you know. However, the way it drives and handles, how to say, it's a Peugeot characteristical feel of the car on the road. Suspension is not too firm, not too flimsy, but I would say like for the normal sort of, this is fast, but let's just say like on a normal sedan, right? Steering wheel feels light, sort of practical, you know. Seat adjustments as well are fine, you know. Can be slightly better, you know, but you can adjust your positions as you want. It's just you would rather be a bit slightly higher sitting or slightly lower to get the right angles up. But overall, it drives and performs good, you know, apart from the small engine, right? But let's look as a business car for business use. I would say it's okay, you know, and for the size wise as well, you know. Regards to range, right? They saying, I think 58. That's delusional, right? I had it for 7 days, this car. I only start actually getting used to it, you know, because it's slightly bigger than a Sportage and slightly sort of sitting a bit lower, and it is, I think, slightly sort of maybe a bit wider. I haven't checked it, but I average in about 45 mpg, right? I have driven on a motorway, city. I can't get it in a 52, you know. It's mostly, I think before I had it on 52, so it's been between sort of, I would say between 45 and 52, but as my most of the driving is constant motorway, to get around like a, let's say 60 miles an hour, getting around somewhere, then I'm averaging 45. So the more likely the 52 would average in around more urban areas, you know, more sort of city driving, where you don't load the engine too much. And yeah, so it's for 1.2, 45 to 52. I don't think it's great. There's nothing impressive even with this with the hybrid system, you know, a mild hybrid system, which is a bit more complex than a normal, like as I mentioned before, the way it operates, right? Because the 1.6 diesel mild hybrid will do the same MPGs between 45 and 52, like on my Kia Sportage, you know. So most of the 1.6 petrols hybrids again will do the same MPG. So there's nothing impressive. There's nothing great, considering the car is let's say a large sedan, right? Probably for the large sedan it would be okay, you know, but still for 1.2 engine turbo hybrid system, nothing impressive, right? So that's pretty much it. The only things I don't like, again, the way you selecting drive assist, cruise control. It is a bit annoying. You have to get used to it. There's no simple button you press, and where separately you have a lane control with sort of lane assist, and where it's easily switch on. You have several options. You're playing around, and then there's OK button where you can accept it, and it goes straight into the when it recognizes obviously the speed. What's the average sort of speed on a vehicle? You press it and you confirm it, and it goes, and then you can toggle between assist. So yeah, that's for the. If it's complicated for me, I would say it would be complicated for anyone above 50. You know, is the system, like I said, infotainment and how user friendliness, I would say, is 0. You know, or 2. You know, it's just bad. You know, compared to other vehicles, how to switch the systems on a steering wheel. Yeah, the only thing I like is Smart Boot, the way the Apple Play connects, and again there's some things with Apple Play when I need to do something else, it's just I don't like it, you know. But I guess there will never be something super perfect unless it's an Apple sort of phone, right, which is simply and easy to use, right? Where I think that's where all the manufacturers are skipping user friendliness and simplicity of using, so where any child can understand how to control certain things really simply, right? But this is not an example. There's all these dials, there's so many lights, they reflecting and gives like a reflected feeling on it, and where the speed is, then there's light, and it just confuses the hell out of me, you know. There's too much like a Christmas tree going on around instrument clusters when you're driving, and then where you normally would have a tachometer where it shows you eco power and charge nonsense, right? That is on, and then the way where the engine temperature and where the fuel gauge is, again, it sort of reflects those sort of shades, right? which is super. It just annoys me, right? You can toggle through the way it changes the design, if you can see it from here, and it shows you the map, and it shows you the different selection. They're all of them kind of bit of annoying, right? I mean, okay, I guess it's okay once you get used to it, right? So, however, this was the little sort of insight about the car. Nothing special. If you do like it, it's car for you. If you don't, obviously, like I said, for £38,000 for the GT spec, you know, there's loads of cars to choose from. More likely, if I will have to buy it, I will definitely not buy it. You know, so hope it helps.